Greetings, everyone. Happy Thursday evening to you all. I am Henry John. This is Burnt Rubber Racing. Another week, another episode. We had more NASCAR action this past weekend at Texas Motor Speedway. And joining me, as always, to break that down and look ahead to this coming week at Kansas as the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs and Xfinity Series playoffs roll on is Zach McAdoo. How are you doing tonight, sir? It's been a bit of a crazy week on this end, I will say that. So, some new gigs, crazy busy. You keeping busy out there too?
Yeah, we have MLB playoffs on. We have the NHL return. I don't really care for the NBA, but I know some fans out there like that. It's the sports equinox, the first of the year. Yeah, and the Braves are one win away. I know.
Just like last year.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring that up because I know exactly what happened last year, the same exact scenario, and I was like, that's baseball. We got to get into NASCAR. Let's go.
Yes, we do. We're going to stay quiet on last year. I don't think last year really counted, though. Like, they were in a bubble. They played 6 games.
It's COVID's fault. No.
No, the Dodgers didn't actually win that. Doesn't count. Okay. Let's go to Texas, Zach.
Stop. Let's back up.
Oh, no. Now we got to talk baseball.
No, it's not baseball. I'm going to NASCAR fight this one. If the Dodgers championship doesn't count because of COVID, Chase Elliott's championship doesn't count.
No comment. I really don't feel like getting punched in the face the next time I go to a race. With that, Texas Motor Speedway, what was this race called again? The Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 500. It was a mouthful. I typed it so many times last week in different articles and still couldn't quite remember the name without looking at it. But, Zach, betting favorite, he was your pick. Kudos to you. Kyle Larson gets it done again. Hendrick Motorsports staying strong, staying the class of the field on the low horsepower, high downforce tracks, aka Texas Motor Speedway. Larson, of course, winning the All-Star race at Texas earlier this summer, and he won this past Sunday. And really, aside from the late race drama, it was a pretty dominant performance. The only one keeping pace with him throughout the race was Hendrick teammate William Byron. And of course, Byron's eliminated from the playoffs, so why would he pass Larson and take his chance from reaching the championship four? Your initial reactions to it, and then we can dive into some of the highlights and discuss some finishes and whatnot here from the long name race.
Yeah, I think we have the same reactions. That was not a good race. Yeah. You could say the last 50 laps were good, but that wasn't due to the racing. That was due to problems for Logano, Truex, whoever else had problems.
The playoff drivers, right?
Yes. That added to the drama, the manufactured drama of the playoffs. I had to get that one in there. Yeah. But other than that, it was a bad race. Texas still cannot figure out how to put on a good race here. There's no hope. I shouldn't say there's no hope because there's hope, but they have to repave it, reconfigure it for the second time, and they just did it, and they're not going to do it again for a long time, I don't think.
Yeah, it was not exactly your most entertaining race. Definitely of the playoffs, definitely of this season. Like I say, Larson pretty much ran away with it. Byron was the only one in his zip code, so you get some late race incidents, the restarts, and to Zach's point, a few playoff drivers encountering issues here down the stretch of this one, and we'll touch on those as well as the standings coming out of this race and potentially what to look for going forward here in the round of 8. First, a little on the race itself. What can we note here? Stage 1, Larson's on the pole, and really, he wins this stage too, Zach, if not for, again, another interesting fuel strategy by Hendrick Motorsports and Kyle Busch, one of the best in the business at saving fuel, and he goes on to get the stage win, capitalizing on that. I don't necessarily consider Phoenix a place where will fuel strategy really come into play there? I don't know, but this is the second time in the playoffs where Hendrick has botched fuel saving strategy. So if stage points aren't necessarily important in the final championship race either, but this is something they're going to have to address. I don't know. Am I the only one who was thinking that? Like, what were they doing there again?
So I'm against you on this one. I believe that Larson, like they did what they did. I'm not gonna go out saying this is the worst one because obviously Vegas was the worst pit strategy.
Oh yeah,
they knew that they couldn't make it. They gambled that
that was the
another
second half of
caution.
the race.
Yeah, and then here that last week you have a weird wreck immediately after the competition caution, or like they just do the green flag, and then you have Bubba Wallace and Bowman get collected into a wreck, and that was probably the most entertaining part of the race. And it wasn't due to the racing; it was due to the wreck. But yeah, you had Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney capitalize, be like, "Hey, we're gonna come in and we're gonna fill up." You really can't fault HMS for that because there was a point of, do you come in and do you risk go to the back just to fill up or what? Because even Busch and Blaney didn't know if they could make it all the way.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, again, stage point's not necessarily even a big deal for Larson. It was just interesting to me that it was all of the Hendrick cars. And I shouldn't single out Hendrick because there were cars from other teams that had to come down. Christopher Bell, I think Denny Hamlin had to go down and get a splash. So it was an interesting situation. It is what it is. It was just something that was worth noting, I thought. Like you say, that big wreck, Bubba Wallace got loose. A big one at Texas. Don't see that at every race there, but several cars collected in that one. Double digits at least, right? I know Ross Chastain took damage in that one. Alex Bowman. There were others.
I had 10 cars involved.
10 cars. All right. So, yeah, double digits. There you go. So interesting to see that transpire. But like I say, Kyle Busch getting the stage 1 win. Stage 2, it's pretty much Larson and Byron right out front. Did anything really even of significance happen in the middle portion of this race in your eyes?
I'm going to say with no.
You know it was a boring race when you got to flip through the notes just to remember what happened.
No, I have nothing besides the debris that kind of saved Chase Elliott. That was the only thing. That's the only noteworthy thing, really.
Imagine that. Debris on the track saves Chase Elliott. Where have I heard that before? Zach, you did have a tweet, though, on Sunday. I saw it. I can't remember if I replied to it or not, but about Anthony Alfredo and his little ordeal in the final stage. What did you see there, and why did you disagree with Alfredo? Walk us through that little incident.
I don't know. I don't remember what you're talking about. I have to go back and look now because
something with Briscoe, I believe, right?
Oh yeah, how he blamed it on Briscoe, but Briscoe never touched him. Alfredo ran up into his own teammate.
Yes, that was pretty good. More on Chase Briscoe. Well, you know what? Let's dive into that right now. Zach, you remember the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, right? When Chase Briscoe dumped Denny Hamlin.
Well, no, we have to talk about what Alfredo did. Alfredo was in a bad wreck. They caused a red flag because the field dumped in big fire. I mean, we're glad to see Alfredo okay. But now, yeah, I'm going to get into Hamlin and Briscoe. Yeah, I remember Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I exactly remember that because I remember I was sitting in, I can tell you exactly where I was when it happened. I was in the Contemporary Resort and Walt Disney World, sitting in a chair, trying to watch it on my phone. The stream cuts out. And guess who doesn't see the final 2 laps? And imagine my surprise seeing AJ Allmendinger win that freaking race. Yeah, I was not happy. But yeah, I remember what happened in Indianapolis. Go ahead.
You weren't happy that Dinger won?
I was not happy with that my stream cut out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And NBC had to bet on me.
Just making sure. You know, NBC kind of. It's NBC. What can I say? At any rate,
before we move on, because it's gonna be longer. Because so there's ESPN for when it comes to like streaming video on your phone. There's ESPN, Fox Sports, 50 Feet of Crap, and then there's NBC Sports Live Extra. That's how bad they are.
Yeah, pretty much. And NBC Sports is just kind of a dying brand at this point.
Besides football.
Anyways,
football and NBC, it's it. That's pretty much it. And NASCAR.
They're one football game a week. Yes. Any rate, Chase Briscoe dumped Denny Hamlin back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, as I'm sure several of you remember. Neither of them were able to win that race because Briscoe got a penalty for the incident. However, had a little another run in here this past week at Texas. Zach, walk us through what happened on track, and then I am going to get your thoughts and reactions to a little social media sparring between the two after the race that I know you haven't seen. So, maybe I'm going to make you pick a side here. I don't know. But the on-track incident first.
I missed it live because I was actually going to get my dinner when it happened. So I had to watch the replays, and I was like, what? What was Hamlin thinking there going up like that? Is like... But then you obviously have to remember Indianapolis, and it's like, okay, he probably didn't cut him any breaks after what happened to Indy. So I believe Hamlin did it on purpose, and it just cost Briscoe wherever he was running at that point.
Yep, Hamlin didn't leave Briscoe any kind of room. 14 car gets into the wall, ultimately caused a caution. But so here we go. After the race. On Instagram, not Twitter this time, Instagram, Zach. Chase Briscoe leaving the sly little comment, quote, "If only I had 10,000 races worth of experience under my belt, ... end quote. Denny Hamlin replies, quote, "Not sure you'll get there. There's cars racing for a championship, in case you forgot about taking out the leader and costing him one championship already this season. Perhaps when you learn give and take, you will start to finish better," end quote. Chase Briscoe claps back, quote, "I get paid to race. Just because you guys are racing in the playoffs doesn't mean I'm just going to wave you by. One of the best cars we've had all year, and I was trying to take advantage of it. I understand you guys are racing for a championship, which is awesome for you guys, but I'm racing for a job, and results let me keep that job," end quote. And one more from the veteran Denny Hamlin to round this thing out, quote, "Well, if your car is better and you are better on that day, you will get the spot back eventually. Risk management is how you optimize your finish each week. Maybe putting yourself in other shoes for 1 minute would help. You had 25 races to get a chance to race for the postseason. Respect is an underrated trait in today's world, it appears," end quote. Wow. Briscoe actually had 26 races to race for the postseason.
I'm glad you said so, because I was going to say something if you didn't.
Maybe it was a typo. I'm going to assume Hamlin just accidentally hit 5. It's Instagram. Hit 5 on his phone when he meant to hit 6. All right. Pick a side. I'm making you do it.
Briscoe, because it's getting later into that race. You have Suarez and Truex racing. Truex cuts down on Suarez. Suarez doesn't give him a break because they're still racing for position. I'm not buying that Briscoe has to let Hamlin by because, oh, you're in the playoffs. Here, just let me just give you everything. I'm sitting here trying to make it's my livelihood, but yeah, I'll just let you have the point. I'll let you have the higher money for getting the better position. Hamlin has nothing. No, he cannot be complaining here, buddy. It's just stupid.
Zach, remind me, are Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe teammates?
No.
Thank you. So we take a top 10 car for Briscoe and finishes 15th because of this incident. Briscoe's not Hamlin's teammate. This is not a William Byron riding the coattails of Kyle Larson lap after lap out in front because Byron is Larson's teammate, and thus he has no right to steal the win when you can advance your teammate into the championship four automatically via victory. This is completely different. You're not teammates. You're like saying, okay, everyone's going to be out on the track, but only 8 of us are actually allowed to race, and the rest of you, like, you're off in no man's land. I don't like that at all from Hamlin.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you seen guys like Briscoe? How many top 10s does he have this year? Not a lot. How many? If you think Harvick's not going to go out and try to win a race the last 3 races here because he's out of the playoffs, you're out of your mind. Now, another thing I just thought of. Hamlin is now a car owner. Am I wrong?
Yeah, 23-11. 2-car owner starting next year.
Yeah, he should know better than do this, because now you have a little bit of a messed up race car because you shoved Briscoe into the wall. You don't think Haas is going to be mad about that? Because Hamlin knows what's getting put into those cars now.
Well, does he, or is most of it coming from MJ?
He should know what's going into the cars from
think.
seeing what happens behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's I'm glad we're both on the same side here, for sure, because I don't like that coming from Denny Hamlin at all. I know it's the playoffs. I know there's only 8 of you left contending for a championship, but I want everyone out there going 100%. That's the nature of racing. That's the nature of the sport. Like we can even throw this over IndyCar, Formula One, guys who are long out of the points race for a championship late in the year. They're still going out there trying to win, get every single position they can. Like, just because we have playoffs in NASCAR, that doesn't change. Hamlin has no leg to stand on here. Anything else from Texas? That all happened. Obviously, Joey Logano had issues in the final stage. Martin Truex Jr. had issues in the final stage. Hamlin ultimately did have a tire go down.
That was an amazing 3-wide. That was probably the best race on-track racing all day.
That was a wild sequence there. So just recapping those 3 finishes, and then we'll touch on the standings quick as well. Denny Hamlin wound up 11th. Where are we at here? Joey Logano.
Somewhere in the 30s.
I don't even. Yeah, it wasn't pretty for him. I can't even find his name here. 30th, exactly. And Martin Truex Jr., 25th. So some playoff drivers with some work to do as we look toward Kansas and then Martinsville here in the round of 8. Any other thoughts on the race itself?
No, I already said my piece. Texas needs to change. But I have the standings up here if you want me to read them off for you, sir.
Please. I'll take a drink of water while you do that.
Yeah, because that's the way I don't have to do math. It's just right here. Okay, Kyle Larson, he's in the championship 4. He has clinched his way, even doesn't have to worry about the next 2 weeks. Ryan Blaney, plus 17. Denny Hamlin, plus 9. Kyle Busch, plus 8. That's the cut line right there. Chase Elliott, minus 8. Brad Keselowski, minus 15. Martin Truex Jr., minus 22. And Joey Logano, not a good 40, minus 43.
All right, so my initial reactions, kudos to Kyle Larson. I'm a little hesitant perhaps to bet on Larson the next couple of weeks, just knowing now that their focus is going to be Phoenix and getting a car ready for there. However, given Hendrick's strength has been the high downforce tracks all year, so that'll be interesting to note. My other observation, Logano pretty much feels like must win with just 2 races to try and make up that difference. The other 3, they can still point their way in, but it's going to depend on, who wins these races. Now, MTJ, you go to Martinsville, he could easily win there and take care of things for himself. But, I think of the guys below right now, Logano's the only one who seriously needs to get this done. But agree, disagree?
I think you're right, Logano. Truex, he said in his interview he was in a must-win, but I think if circumstances go his way, he can still point his way in. Keselowski is probably the same thing, but I mean, Elliott, who's only minus 8 out. But it all depends on how many winners in the playoffs we get. Because if we get 3, that only means one guy's going to point their way in. And if it's Logano and Keselowski in, and that probably leaves Blaney because he's the top guy. So,
yeah. I mean, shout out to Ryan Blaney for changing the complete outlook of his season there. Just the final 2 weeks of the regular season, getting those wins, getting those playoff points, that was huge. Because going into those last 2 regular season races, he was sitting in a similar situation to Keselowski and Logano in terms of points accumulated. And now we're seeing that gap here as the playoffs move on, as the competition gets thicker, gets tougher, fewer drivers in this thing, you're getting whittled out. And Blaney is sitting in a much better position than his Penske teammates. So that is noteworthy there for sure. Real quick, shout out to Daniel Suarez, top 10 finish at Texas this past week. Good stuff from him. Zach, there was also an Xfinity Series playoff race at Texas this past Saturday. And, what is it going to take for Daniel Hemrick to finish better than second? I mean, seriously, it's ridiculous with this guy at this point. Runner-up yet again. And, oh, by the way, this time the runner-up comes to a guy who's racing for the NASCAR Truck Series Championship, not the Xfinity Series. John Hunter Nemechek gets the win, driving the 54 for JGR, a car we've seen, obviously, Ty Gibbs have success in this year, Kyle Busch. That car gets driven by just about everybody, it seems like, for Joe Gibbs. But Hemrick second, Noah Gragson, big third place finish, Justin Allgaier fourth, Austin Cindric rounds out the top five, AJ Allmendinger sixth, Haley seventh, Harrison Burton eighth, Michael Annett comes in ninth, so good bounce back for him. Good to see him back in the car out there. Brandon Jones rounds out your top 10. A lot of playoff drivers there in that top 10. What did you see from this race? Any big observations? And I'll get those Xfinity standings pulled up so we can look at those here too for the roundup 8.
Nothing I can really remember is Hemrick. You got a feel for this guy. It seems
like
my
goodness, man.
At 18, he's up front in a lot of his playoffs, but just can't get it done. I don't know what it is, but maybe he points his way into the Final Four and gets his first win there. Wouldn't that be a story?
That would be pretty darn cool if he can get into the championship four and then goes on to win the whole thing at Phoenix. That would be pretty sweet. Zach, your updated standings after the Xfinity Texas race. So we got 2 races remaining here in the round of 8. Kansas and then Martinsville when we're breaking these down. AJ Allmendinger still your leader. It's a slim lead, though, over Austin Cindric. 4-point gap between the top 2 there. It is a 22-point separation between Cindric and third place Justin Allgaier. How about Noah Gragson into the top 4 there? And behind him, just 2 points below the cut line, is Daniel Hemrick. Justin Haley, just 6 points behind Noah Gragson. Harrison Burton, Brandon Jones. They are both over 20 points out. For Brandon Jones, it is a 32-point gap. So they are in a bit of a sticky situation here moving forward. Thoughts on those standings? And I don't know, you got any bold takes? Anyone jumping in? I know we just had the feel-good moment for Hemrick, but you're a Gragson guy too, so we'd hate to see it come at his expense. What are your thoughts here on the Xfinity playoff chase?
Barring any mishaps, you have your 2 points. You have your 2 points guys already moving on in Allmendinger and Cindric. They are plus 30 and plus 26, as you said. And no matter what, you have
2 winners now.
Yeah, you can only have 2 winners for the rest of the round here. So unless they win a race, that's 2 of your spots right there in the points. Because I don't think you're knocking them out unless they have a mechanical failure or get caught up in a wreck. Now, when it comes to Gragson, they're all right there. They're all right there. You can say, well, I shouldn't say they're all, but like Allgaier, Gragson, Hemrick. Was it Harrison Burton that was right there too? No, he was minus.
Justin Haley closer than
Haley.
Harrison Burton.
But
yeah,
those 4 are right there. But that might not matter if we get a Brandon Jones or Harrison Burton winner.
Do you think we could get one of those long shot winners?
Yes. Brandon Jones won here last year. Last year, he could very well win Kansas this week.
All right. So something to note there for sure. I have to go back to Daniel Hemrick for a second here because, I have the whole stats board in front of me when we're looking at these standings. Zach, second in laps led in the Xfinity Series this year, 582. Stage wins. Sits alone in third. Cindric and Dinger tied for first. Hemrick 9. The next closest driver is Justin Haley with 5 stage wins. Top 5 finishes. 4th, 13th. Top 10s. Where are we at here? He's got 19. Tied for 6th. And this guy doesn't have a win. And he's never won in this series. Are you kidding?
He's never won in any national series. Trucks, Xfinity.
Oh, I know. I don't know. I feel like it's got to change. And You know what? That is the perfect script. So I'm going to run with you on it. He wins Phoenix after getting into the championship 4, and that's his first win. Make it happen, Daniel Hemrick. And I'm not even a Gibbs guy. So there you go. What other news do we have from the world of NASCAR, the world of motorsports this week? I feel like it was a quiet week overall. I know you were excited when I told you I had a little Briscoe Hamlin beef just to add to the conversation on this show. Did you see anything major? I know Formula One's got some headlines today, but we're not really big F1 guys on burnt rubber racing.
No, F1's coming to America. I might watch some of those laps because it's COTA, and that's the track I like. You don't like it so much, but
nope.
Since we're bringing up F1 is free for this week, I believe, on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Yeah, you get free publicity to me. I don't know why you guys wouldn't sponsor me. You should. Mac 316, come at me. I want that EA money. Okay, anyways, Liberty University signs on for 5 more years with HMS. I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep William Byron there. They're on for 2026. I mean, that's a long ways away if you really think about it, NASCAR sponsorship wise. And then the other news. Sorry.
That's good stuff, though. I like the paint schemes, and I think it's a good partnership. So it's good. It's good to see a school like. I mean, that doesn't happen a lot. Just trying to think back in history. So, but yeah, Liberty University that's a good school. If I have kids someday and they want to go to college, that'll be the first place I recommend to them. But so you can take that for what it's worth about me and what I stand for. But yeah, continue.
No, there's another college. You know what college I want to point to. But anyways, Interstate Batteries, they extend their partnership with Joe Gibbs Racing too. We have no idea how long for, but they are going to move on. They're going to extend their partnership that has lasted over 30 years. Yeah. That's all I got.
We got sponsorship news. We got Formula One, but really no big headlines this week. Everything, I feel like every article, every NASCAR seeming story that I've seen, or every other, I should say, probably not. It's not everyone, but this week it's been: is Hendrick Motorsports going to push Chase Elliott to the championship 4? Hendrick has to get behind Elliott and bump him into the championship 4, which, yes, they're probably going to do, like you just said, everything they can to make that happen. He can still do it on points easily. He's the reigning champ. So I guess it's Chase Elliott Buzz Week, because now we don't have drama with he and Kevin Harvick. And yeah.
No, so they ended that because NASCAR had to call and make sure that their rivalry was over.
Remember, we still got Martinsville. Couple weeks. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see if that's definitely over for sure.
If either one touches the other one, well, I shouldn't say if either one, because if Elliott gets to Harvick, nothing's going to happen. But if Harvick gets to Elliott, there's going to be suspensions thrown out. Yeah. Tell me I'm wrong. Someone tell me I'm wrong, because I'm right. If Elliott gets to Harvick and moves him out of the way, that's NASCAR's not going to care, because that's their cold boy.
I will not tell you you're wrong, but I will still pay money to watch it because it would be entertaining. Before we get to Martinsville, though, and any potential more incidents, Zach, we are headed to Kansas Speedway this weekend, the Hollywood Casino 400, the second race in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, round of 8. And this is just one of 3 races remaining in the 2021 season. Feels like it's flown by in the grand scheme of things, but it's been a fun ride. And hopefully we'll have some more fireworks before it is all said and done. Second race at Kansas this year. What more can you tell us about the last 1.5 mile intermediate D-shaped oval that we're going to run on this year?
All right, so yeah, we are here. We have Kansas this week. It opened up in 2001. It's 1.5 miles in length. It's a D-shaped oval. It turns their bank between 17 and 20 degrees. It used to have a night race in the spring. I think it's about Mother's Day weekend, if I'm correct. They lost that this year. They gave that to. Oh, they gave it to Darlington. They gave it back to Darlington. That's right. Kansas still has the two race dates. As they Have they always had the playoff race? I don't remember. I knew.
I think the fall one is the long-term one. They added the spring one. That was the second one to come about.
All right, so yeah, they've
Don't
always
quote
had
me on that, but I'm
race.
pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Because it's kind of a track here. There's not much history to it.
Yeah, it is definitely a newer track. Pretty much, we're going to see the similar setups, same setup, same package that a lot of these teams ran last week at Texas. Thinking back to the spring race, the legendary Bushy McBush race 400, Kyle Busch won that race. How fitting on his birthday. But that was a race that was dominated by Kyle Larson. And I remember on this very show the following week when we recapped that one, I was a little heated because I felt Larson got screwed out of what was going to be a dominant win when that tire was sitting on the infield grass. And it sat there for several laps, I believe double-digit laps, before NASCAR decided to do anything about it and throw a caution. So
more NASCAR consistency, everybody! I mean, what? The only consistency is that there's inconsistency with them. So, but anyways, keep going.
Yeah, there's been a little too much of that this year. We might have to break some of it down in the off season and share some more of our thoughts on that sort of thing. But yeah, so Kyle Busch gets the win. Kyle Larson dominated that race. You know, there have been other times this year when Larson's dominated and not won, but given Hendrick Motorsports' strength, being on the high downforce tracks this year, I guess I would have to say the early favorites are HMS. Before we dive into any actual numbers and whatnot with our handicap, did you have something to say? You're turning your hat.
Point out, it took a half hour for me to remember Larson won the race, so that's the backwards hat.
Oh, okay. All right, perfect.
I'm an idiot.
I don't have a hat today. Actually, my Braves hat is somewhere, but it's not on my head. Let's jump into some driver stats here for Kansas, Zach. I've got driver averages. We'll do that first. Kevin Harvick, I mean, he's got the best average finish over the last 10 races, and we've been able to say that for a number of different tracks this year. But Harvick still has yet to win a race, and I'm not sure that this week is the one to pick him to do so. Now, as we discussed in the Chase Briscoe Denny Hamlin beef, Stuart Haas bringing some better equipment to the high downforce track last week. Harvick's car was good, but still picking him to win, asking a lot. But at any rate, average finish over the last 10 at Kansas, 5.5. Martin Truex Jr. follows him, 6.3. Kyle Busch, your spring race winner, was also top 5 in this race last year, 8.2 average finish. Alex Bowman in 8 races, 9.5. But he was only 18th in the spring. Does have a couple top 3s, though, recently. Brad Keselowski, 10.2. Chase Elliott, there's that name. The guy Hendrick's trying to push into the Final Four, 10.6. Denny Hamlin, 10.7. Kurt Busch, 13.3. Looking to see where last year's Hollywood Casino 400 winner is. Joey Logano all the way down at 15.7. Now, we talked about Logano sitting there, must-win position when it comes to the point standings. If he wants to qualify for the championship 4, he won this race last year. Not necessarily the most consistent driver at Kansas, but he's proven he can get the job done when it matters. Thoughts on the average finish stats? Any other names you want to throw out? And I'll throw out some driver ratings in just a second.
You didn't say Daniel Suarez yet, did you?
I did not say Daniel Suarez, no. Looks like he's at 22 average finish. Okay. 12th in the spring.
Yeah, I thought it was 11th.
Average finish?
No, for in the spring. FanDuel, I thought had.
I don't know. It could be 11th. The chart I'm looking at says 12th. I will go back to. Where is the Bushy McBush?
It's not clear, but if you see the FIN Bushy McBush. Doesn't matter. But yeah, that was one guy I had to look for.
Okay, 11. So NASCAR wagers, I use their site for average finish because they put it in nice charts. But
And they lied to you.
Clearly they got this one wrong. All right, driver rating. Kevin Harvick, average driver rating of 119.1. These are the last 7 races since the start of the 2018 NASCAR season. Kyle Larson, of course, he missed the 2 races at Kansas last year, but average rating of 112 over his last 5. Couple of top 5s here, 3 top 10s for him, and a shoulda, woulda, coulda win in the spring race. Kyle Busch, 4 top 5s, and of course that spring win, 107.4. Brad Keselowski, also 4 top 5s and a win in the last 7, 106.8. Another driver who could really stand to win this weekend in terms of the championship picture. And we got Chase Elliott, 4 top 5s, 1 win, 105.2. Denny Hamlin, he didn't have the best average finish over the last 10, but over the last 7, it has been better. 102.7 average driver rating, 9.14 average finish in the last 7 races, 3 top 5s, 2 wins. And the last driver with a driver rating on average in the last 7 over 100 is Martin Truex Jr. No wins, but 3 top 5s for him. All right. That's a lot of stats, a lot of numbers. Did you want to dissect anything, or are you itching to hop into some FanDuel DFS pricing?
I think we're just ready to get into FanDuel here. Okay, so the driver you really want to take this week.
Kyle Larson.
No, I'm against Kyle Larson for the next 2 weeks, just like you are.
Okay. Can I ask you a question, though?
All right.
I'm not sure what the best way to say it is, but how are you approaching Kyle Larson from a handicapping standpoint this week and next week, knowing he is already locked into the championship 4, but yet that he's been the most dominant driver in the sport this season, that he's in superior equipment, and especially this week, knowing how strong Hendrick and Chevy have been on high downforce tracks? I'm genuinely curious to hear your thoughts.
I'm going away from Larson.
Okay.
Because I feel like they're going to help Elliott more than if you're not racing the number 9 the next 2 weeks, I'm not taking you. That is how little I trust Hendrick Morris. I didn't say little I trust, but like that's how much I think that they're not. Shouldn't say they're not going to care about the 5, the 24, the 48. It's just how much pressure they're probably going to put on the 9 to make it.
So you really think equipment-wise they're pumping him up and everyone else is going to suffer? Whereas Larson, they can race one car this week and they can tune up another car for Phoenix. I mean, we're talking about slightly different tracks here, so it wouldn't surprise me in the least if they did that. But
and another thing with Larson, they're not going to send him his best short track car next week because they're going to need it in 2 weeks.
Very true. All right, that's a good breakdown. I was curious to hear your thoughts. I'm still on the fence exactly what I want to do with him, but talking about FanDuel,
he's good for a top 10, but I don't. He starts first. He's going to lose spots. I feel like how long he leads the race is going to. It's going to depend. It could go either way. I don't think he's going to dominate because he's not getting the best stuff, but he's not.
I completely hear you.
He's not worth the $14,000 price tag.
Yeah, 14.5 is actually what I'm looking at right now, and that's of course the highest price driver on the board. And surprise, surprise, when we get to betting, which we will shortly, plus 240, pretty sizable favorite this week once again is Kyle Larson. And I think you and I are on the same page, where we know he can get it done, and we know he deserves those numbers. But given the scenario Hendrick Motorsports is in and Larson is in, having clinched a spot in the Final Four, it's really tough to get excited about paying a premium price betting in DFS wise for the 5 car here these next 2 weeks. And, maybe they'll go out and just dominate again and prove us wrong. And there will be no tire in the infield this time. Who knows? But I'm going to side with you for now. All right. Drivers you are looking at for the Hollywood Casino 400.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Kyle Busch. He won here in the spring. He starts fourth. I feel like he's gonna at least get a top five. Gonna try to get a good points out of him just to make sure he's still up there. I'm also looking at Joey Logano. He's in a must-win situation. He won here last year, about the same weather-wise. That's what I'm looking for. I think he could do it again Sunday. And then your value play this week, Daniel Suarez. That is why I asked for him. He might not be in the best equipment. But he raced, earned 10 spots, got an 11th place finish. He starts 16th this Sunday. He got top 10 last week. Don't doubt him with a 550 package.
So he actually gained 10 spots back in the spring race.
Yes.
All right, I like it. And like you say, again, Chevys. I think those when we're talking about value picks, betting DFS wise this week, target Chevrolets, that 550 package that has been their strong suit compared to Ford, especially compared to Ford, and also even compared to Toyota all year long. I like Suarez there as a value play. So those prices are the guys Zach just listed. Kyle Busch, $13K. We got Logano, defending race winner, $9,800, and Daniel Suarez, $7,000 on the nose. It can't be Kyle Larson because we just talked about him, but is there another high-priced driver, heavyweight, if you will, that you're looking to avoid this week, sir?
All right, I already said him earlier, but I'm going to go back with William Byron. HS. So I just don't trust him right now. That again, I don't mean I don't trust him. I don't think they're going to put a lot of power into nine-car hood underneath anyone else besides that 9-car. It's a tough play, but right now I'm looking elsewhere.
Right. I'm just looking to see what Byron did. Okay, so he was 9th in the spring race, but of course he had that late restart, so shuffled things. 4 straight top 10s for him at Kansas in a top 5. Average finish of 17.6 in 7 Cup Series starts. So the stats aren't bad. Again, this comes back to situation. He's priced at $11,500, $1,000 less than Chase Elliott. Zach, is Elliott a guy you're looking to put in a lineup? Talking about Hendrick Motorsports here, because I think you and I are on the same page. After discussing it, he's going to have an equipment advantage over his teammates. This is the equipment package Hendrick has dominated all year. What's to say we shouldn't look at him? He's $500 less than Kyle Busch in terms of pricing. Can you get behind Elliott in lineups this week?
I mean, you could, but maybe it's my bias, but I'm not putting him in anything until for a little bit. But I mean, he'll win here. He's got a 10.6 average finish here, so he wouldn't be a bad play. So, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad play.
All right. Just checking. I didn't know if it was biased or not, but I wanted to ask. Thoughts on Kurt Busch, too. Average finish of 13.3 over the last 10, like we said. Again, I feel like the CGR boys are gunning to get Ganassi one more if they possibly can. Busch has 3 top 10s in the last 5 races, 15th in the spring. And again, those Chevys with this 550 package, $8,500.
Yeah, this is hard writing. Honestly, it was hard writing the DFS article because there's a lot of guys I thought I could put in there, but then when I looked at the numbers, like, oh, you can't really do that because they're actually better than what I thought. So, and Kurt Busch was one of those guys where it's okay. I can't really put him in there for what he's done here. So, yeah, Kurt Busch would not be a bad play here.
All righty. Good stuff. Zach teased that article. You can find that when it comes out. FlurrySports.org in the little NASCAR section. My betting column will be up there as well for the Hollywood Casino 400. We got to talk some betting when casino's in the race name. I already said Kyle Larson, Zach, is your race favorite, plus 240, but you and I are both steering clear of him, given the situation facing Hendrick Motorsports and that he has already locked himself into the championship floor. We're assuming Larson and the 5 team have their sights set on Phoenix and all of the extra resources in that Hendrick garage are going to go under the hood of the number 9 car, Chase Elliott, who is 8-1. He is the 4th option on the betting board this week. We have Denny Hamlin above him, plus 550. Kyle Busch, your spring Bushy McBush race 400 winner at 6-1. And then William Byron is 9-1. Ryan Blaney 10-1. Martin Truex Jr. 11-1. Brad Keselowski is 14-1. Joey Logano, the final playoff driver, last in the point standings as of now, is 16-1, but he's your defending race winner. So that top group there, Zach, in case you weren't paying attention, that's your 8 playoff drivers and William Byron. He fits in there as well. So we got 9 here, considering at the top of the board. Interesting to see Logano down at 16-1, considering he won this race last year. I'm assuming your race winner comes out of this group, given Kansas is a track where the cream typically rises to the top, kind of like Texas. But I could be wrong. What are you thinking of these top guns here?
I think you're right that my winner is in the top 9.
Okay. 9, yes. 8 plus William Byron.
Yeah.
That's what we'll call it.
So
do we want to save winners for the end, or are you going to go now?
I'll go right now. How about this? There you go. I have Joey Logano taking it. He'll repeat and clinch his way into the championship 4 like he did last year.
All right. 16-1 payout, so not bad if you want to tail McAdoo on that one. He's been right on a few this year. I think most notably the Indianapolis 500. But at any rate, we'll continue on here. Kevin Harvick, Zach, is 18-1. Mentioned how he has the best average finish in recent races at Kansas, the best average driver rating. And I know Stuart Haas has struggled running the 550 package this year, right? It has not been pretty. But last week, Briscoe was fast and Harvick was fast. Top 5 for Harvick. He starts ahead of the majority. I don't know if it's all, but the majority of the non-playoff drivers this week, whereas last week he had to make up a lot of ground early on. Maybe a flyer at value, 18-1. I don't know. Might be a tease. Tyler Redick, 22-1. Alex Bowman, 30-1. Christopher Bell, 30-1. Kurt Busch, 45-1. Kind of a smaller mid-pack because we lumped all the playoff drivers into one. Thoughts on these, 5 or 6?
I mean, with his history here, I got to go Redick. I feel like he's been overperforming here at Kansas more than anyone. We've been high on him. He was there at the end of that race last week. Ran into the back of Byron, ruined his race a little bit. But that win, we're both hoping this win's coming. And I think this is his last best chance.
It's coming sooner or later. Might be early next year, but it's coming. Redick has been fast. The 8 car has been fast week in, week out. And to your point, he was 7th here in the spring, 2 top 10s in his 4 Cup Series starts at Kansas. All right, long shot time. Matt DiBenedetto and Austin Dillon, 60-1. Eric Almirola, Ross Chastain, 80-1. Chase Briscoe, Daniel Suarez, Zach's DFS value pick, 100-1. Chris Buescher, Eric Jones, 130-1. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Bubba Wallace, Cole Custer, 150-1. Michael McDowell, Ryan Newman, I'm surprised his odds are that short, 200-1 when we're talking about Kansas. Corey LaJoie, Ryan Preece, 350-1. Parker Kligerman racing the 96 for the Gaunt brothers. Had to get him in there. He's 400-1, though. He is a long shot indeed, starting at the rear of the field. I'm going to have another question for you in just a second, but we'll do Dollar and a Dream first. Long shots, who are we Venmoing you to bet on for us this week?
Well, it's not Cody's brother, that's for sure. But is that bad taste? Daniel Suarez, I feel like you've got to go with him. If I remember correctly, when he was in the 19, he was out leading some laps here in his rookie season. I don't think he's going to lead laps like he did then, but I think he could luck his way in here, and maybe a field strategy.
All right. I'm with you on that. By the way, Group F stole the show last week. I had to go back and just confirm. Zach, you were correct. Josh Bilicki, Group F winner, By the way, after we got off the air, Cody Ware took money, got bet down to plus 150. I went through the stats. I looked at finishes on similar tracks, and I was like, there's a reason Cody Ware is a hefty favorite. There's a reason he's taking money. I put Cody Ware in the column, and Cody Ware did Cody Ware things and did not finish. Finished 38th. Timmy Hill, one spot behind Bilicki, though. They were 26th and 27th. So Zach's two guys who he said to take. Timmy Hill was the Group F long shot, and they were the top two finishers. So I have to give you some props on that. My other question, though, as we wrap up this long shot section, Parker Kligerman starts at the rear of the field. Gaunt Brothers, Toyota's going to be faster than several cars they're against back there. And Parker Kligerman is not listed in FanDuel DFS pricing right now. If he shows up there between now and the race, would you consider him as a value play? Because I'm sure he's going to be fairly cheap. No spots to be gained.
I wouldn't. I don't trust the 96 because they're part time. They don't do as well as Colleague.
No, they're like between Colleague and I don't even know if it's fair to put MBM as the other threshold because Gaunt Brothers are a step ahead of MBM. But yeah, it would purely be a play on gaining spots. But I can totally hear you if you're not trusting the 96 team either. But Kligerman not even listed right now, so I guess that speaks for itself. A couple other numbers that just popped out to me on the page here. Tyler Redick plus 250 for a top five. I kind of like that with the way that team's been running lately. Wouldn't necessarily shy away from it. Kevin Harvick is also plus 230 for that finish. Don't hate it for sure. Let's see here. Jumping over to the top 10 page. Wow, you would have to lay $11 to win $1, Zach, on a top 10 for Kyle Larson. Crazy high number there. I'm surprised he's even in the top 10 odds, to be honest with you. Top 10 finish, though, Daniel Suarez. He's been your value pick in all these segments so far. Plus 250 to get that top 10. Ross Chastain is 2-1. Again, Chevy's on the 550 tracks, the high downforce tracks. I could get behind both those guys, and those are not bad returns there.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, they very well could surprise some teams and get that top 10, like we've been indicating.
All right, let's go to head-to-head matchups here as we continue our betting discussion for Kansas. Would you rather? That's what we're going to do this week. Would you rather with the head-to-heads? I got to find a second one to throw at you here. All right. You ready? Would you rather take Alex Bowman at plus 105 against Christopher Bell's minus 130? Or would you rather take Martin Truex Jr. at even money against William Byron minus 120? Not a whole lot of plus odds on the board.
You said it was Bell or Bowman was the first one?
Yep, Bowman is plus 105 against Bell. Truex even money against Byron.
Yeah. I got to go with Truex. Why would you not take Truex over Byron at this point? Because Truex, well, as long as Truex doesn't wreck himself again, I think he should be fine.
Excuse you, watch your mouth.
I'm not wrong. He wrecked himself last week. He turned into Suarez. Move on.
Don't remind me. We'll go to the groups now, since you're getting a little feisty. Group F, unfortunately, it's not.
It's not meme worthy. This is bullcrap. DraftKings, get on your stuff.
Yeah, I think that may have been a one-time deal, but we enjoyed it while it lasted. Pick another letter, and then we'll hit Group F to finish up.
It's Group C.
All right, Kevin Harvick plus 250. Cole Group C favorite along with Tyler Redick. This is interesting. I love how everything comes around on Burnt Rubber Racing. Zach's two favorite drivers, the guys we've been hyping up all year. Now they're running at about the same pace week to week. They're in the same group. They have the
Neither one
exact
has a
same
win this
odds.
year.
Neither one has won yet. Both are trending towards winning. Will they get one in the last 3 races? We don't know. It's just great. This show is great. Christopher Bell plus 290 along with Alex Bowman. They are co-Group C long shots. I'll tell you, the stats tell me I have to go with Kevin Harvick there, given what he's done at Kansas. I was impressed with the 4 team and their speed last week at a similar track in Texas. I like Harvick here.
I have to agree with you there because Harvick usually is up towards the front. He's finished second in the last 2 races at this track. You go back to last year, he dominated the race. Just late pit stop, Logano got in front of him, and you can't pass here. So that's why Logano got the win, and that kept Harvick from competing for a championship last year. Hello.
Yeah, and I have a hard time with Christopher Bell, just given the fact that all 3 of the other JGR drivers are still alive in the championship race. And I know he was 3rd last week at Texas, but obviously there was some late race chaos in that one. So unless we get something similar this week, I don't know that I trust Bell to keep pace and beat out some of the other names in that group, Harvick in particular. All right, Group F for this week. It's not meme-worthy, but it's still Group F, Zach. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Bubba Wallace, and Cole Custer. We have a 3-way tie for Group F favorite, plus 250. Michael McDowell, your lone long shot, at plus 340. Michael McDowell has quietly, since he got knocked out of the playoffs, he's at least been finishing better. I mean, it's not beginning of the season Michael McDowell, but they've been a little better. But still, he's a long shot for a reason in this group. Everyone else the same odds. Kind of a tough one to handicap here, if I'm being honest. What are you thinking?
So, I'm going to throw something at the wall and hope it sticks and actually take Michael McDowell in this. Method of my madness. He's got the best odds here for return-wise compared to the rest of the 3. Cole Custer's not. He's been shady here in his 3 starts here. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., I don't trust JT Doherty. 1 week they're good, the next week they're trash, essentially. I shouldn't say trash, but they have performance issues. And then Bubba Wallace, they're a new team. They might have won Talladega, but I said trust Wallace in the spring, and he screwed me. So I'm not going to go back to that well again. I'm taking Michael McDowell because he finished 13th in this spring race, and he's got the best odds. I'll roll with it.
He does, and I know Bubba Wallace is in new, better equipment, but it is JGR equipment. Just talked about how they still have 3 guys going for a championship, right? That could impact him potentially. Michael McDowell has a better average finish here than both him and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Stenhouse was 34th in the spring, 16th in this race last year, 40th in the first race a year ago. McDowell, average finish of 19.8. That is behind Cole Custer, but Cole Custer only 3 starts, and he was 24th in the spring. McDowell did, in fact, finish best of the bunch back in the Bushy McBush race. So I like what you're doing there. You're getting a little payout. I'm here for it. No rebuttals whatsoever. Let's round it out here. Looking, where are team odds? What did they do with them? There we go. Race winning team. Hedrick Motorsports, your favorite, Zach, plus 125. We got JGR plus 190. Team Penske plus 450. Of course, your pick to win, Logano coming from Team Penske. SHR 13-1. RCR 19-1. Chip Ganassi 35-1. Wood Brothers 60. Roush Fenway 90. Trackhouse 100. Richard Petty 130, along with JTG. If you had to pick a race winning team, I don't know that I necessarily think the winner is going to come from Penske, but I kind of like Penske at a plus 450 price. 3 guys running for a championship. 2 of them could really stand to win this race, talking about Keselowski and Logano. I don't mind plus 450. However, my only problem with it is when I go back to the odds on the Penske drivers, we're looking at double-digit returns on all of them. I might just as soon rather bet all three of them to win than the team. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you with me on Penske, or would you do something else here with the team odds?
Yeah, I'm looking. If I really want to bet on a team, if there was no odds placed, I'd bet on a team. I'd look at Joe Gibbs because they have three guys who could very well be at the front of this race, lead a lot of laps, and win. But with the returns, you got to look at Penske. I mean, like you said, they have better odds if you bet them individually. But that plus 450, there's something there. Something that entices me.
There is something there. And if you bet them all three individually, you're going to lose two of those tickets. So you've got to do the math and make sure you do that right to have it work out in your favor. So you got some options. Yeah, good stuff there. Good discussion. Good handicap. I think that'll do it for our Kansas preview, our Hollywood Casino 400 preview. Just 3 races left this season. 2 more drivers can clinch a spot in the Final Four via victory. And only 3 spots remain left for the taking after Kyle Larson sealed his up last week. Zach, you have any other thoughts before we get on out of here?
No, but I don't. Do we need a crack at ending this week? I think it's a specialty that we have to just keep it going now.
Yeah, you might as well. Just give it to the people. They want it.
All right, here we go. Okay. Subscribe to Apple Podcasts, follow on Spotify, Google Podcasts, do whatever you have to do on iHeartRadio, Speaker Podcast. I just hit my fan. Whatever you have to do for wherever you listen to us at. Subscribe on YouTube. You know where we're at if you're watching us live right now. Follow us on Twitter at Bird Racing, at ZT McAdoo. Which way do I point? This way. At Hangtime Henry. FlurrySports.org. We have our own little NASCAR section, and yeah, boom, we're good.
Check out all the articles. They will be up before this weekend's race. DFS from McAdoo, betting from me, your starting lineup, your track overview. It's all on the way. Enjoy this week's playoff action at Kansas. Hopefully we've got some excitement to break down for you next week. All right, this has been episode, I lost count, of Burnt Rubber Racing. I'm going to get back on that next week. We will talk to you then. Enjoy your evening, Zach. Have a good one, everyone. Take care.